Stephen Silver Carter, host for Black Star Still Rising. And for our, let me say about our sponsor, the Black Star Project, the executive director of Black Star Project is Gloria Smith. And we have to always shout out to the founder of the Black Star Project, and that's Philip Jackson. Always to him and what he has done to keep this going. I'm so excited about the guest we have this evening, a gentleman that I just met that I'll be introducing you to in a second. He's normally wearing the brown and gold. He decided not to wear the brown and gold. I don't know why. Just because black and gold is right beside. This is my Divine Nine brother, Brother Cortez Watson. Professor Watson, you'll know a little bit more about him. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him, and he's going to tell you a lot about himself and what he's doing with the Black Star Project. We're also going to talk about, I'm going to give him a chance to talk about a program that Black Star Project is going through, and it's called the Parents University, yep. Which is an exciting event because Philip was the one that founded it. And it's being reintroduced, is that the term?
It's being relaunched.
Relaunched,
yep.
And we're happy to have him here. I want to give some shout-outs, of course, always to our studio producers. That's Imani Payne and Rocio Santos. Thank you, Rocio. Thank you, Imani, for setting things up so we have a good chance of making a good program out of this today. So thank you for that. Also, a shout-out to Cy Lewis at the Meadows East, that program, and to our followers, our listeners at the Kroc Center and also the senior citizen at Cregier and 79th Street. My seniors, my octogenarians, my septuagenarians, hello. Raise your hand if you're there. You see them out there, they're here to see you. Without any further, what they call further ado, I never did look up ado, but without further ado, Professor Cortez Watson, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about what you do and your role in Black Star Project.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Brother Carter, for hosting this thing and keeping the connection of the Black Star movement with the people, through media. Mm-hmm. It's really important. So I wanted to celebrate you. I know you're interested in that black and old gold, not that brown and gold.
Okay.
not that brown and gold, but we won't hold that against you.
We're Divine Nine, brother.
Yes,
that's
absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. So I'll reverse that. I'll go a little bit about Black Star Project, and then I'll let that trail into.
I want to know about this with Parent University. It sounds exciting.
Yes, sir. So for those who are not familiar with the Black Star Project, the Black Star Project was founded by our late great founder, I call him Honorable Philip Jackson, and he focused in two particular areas. One was economic development for the African American community, and the other one was youth development, education as well, formal education as well as informal education. So specifically to formal and informal education, Philip Jackson had a vision long before two-generation models in the research world was the new and exciting thing to do. And Philip said that we can no longer educate young people and give them the support that they need without educating their first and primary educator.
And he also said, educate or die.
That's where I was going with it. I love it.
Please, yes.
And his moniker was, we need to educate the youth and the parent. And he said it is so vital that we do this that we need to think about it with three words: educate or die. And he meant death in the sense that generationally we're going to lose in astronomical ways if we don't educate the young person, as well as the moms, dads, and caregivers.
Let me tell our listening, our viewer audience something too. Get your pencils and papers out. You need to take notes on this. And Professor Watson is going to give you some information in terms of the program that's coming this Saturday. And get your pencil and paper handy. He's going to tell you how to get more information after this broadcast. Okay, so back to you, Professor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the Parent University launched under Philip's leadership in the early 2000s. and it was incredibly successful. Not only did the Freedom School model for young people have, at its peak, it had 20 different sites in community centers and in public schools. There were also a number of parent university sites that launched in relationship to those youth sites. Well, that is something that we're seeking to bring back. We know we live in an America where certain books that talk about African American and talk about Latinx peoples, these books are being banned in particular states. So Phillips said back in the 90s and the 2000s, whatever's going on in schools, we support that, we allow that, but after school and on Saturdays, we'll do the educating. So parent
We
university.
have another agenda.
Yeah,
A greater
agenda.
Okay.
And Phillips' messaging there actually was before our nation decided that some books needed to be banned. So
I take it that
sorry.
you got a couple of books here. Those are not two that should be banned. I would say.
I have one that I know is banned in certain states. That's Dr. King's book, Why We Can't Wait.
Okay.
I found this book back in
How long you had that?
I've had this book since 2005.
And you don't highlight in dog ear like me, but you can find. You told me you remember the books where you want to
Page numbers.
By pages. That's a memory. I wish I could do that. But go ahead, tell us about that.
So page number. So I brought these two books, this one in particular, because I know that not in our great state of Illinois, but there are some states where this book written by Dr. King while
So
incarcerated.
what's the title again? So if they
Why
can read.
Why We Can't Wait. And one of the things that Dr. King talked about in this book in the 1960s was about educating parents.
Okay.
Okay.
You mean we didn't learn enough after we got out of college or junior college or grammar school? It wasn't enough that we go ahead.
Well, one of the things that the Freedom School movement back in the 60s talked about is even when you go to high school as an African American, even when you go to college as African American, there are things that are left out by omission. Right?
Purposeful.
So it's intentional, it's
Yes.
purposeful.
Yes.
So it's very, very important that folks get access to that knowledge. And one of the things Dr. King used to talk about is how you can't talk about love without talking about power, social power, political power, and vice versa. You can't talk about power structures without talking
You got to
about.
repeat that again because I know it's a powerful thing you're saying. Say that again.
Well, Dr.
write this
King
down.
said
Write
it.
this down. No, but you're supposed to be bringing it on. Please.
Yes, sir. So
Love is power.
yeah, we can't have a conversation about love if we're not going to have an honest conversation about different forms of power, social power, gender power, racial power, political power, and vice versa. We can't have an honest conversation about power, political power, etc., if we're not going to have an honest conversation about love and the things that we prioritize from a love-based
Can I
perspective.
add in there? We have to add senior, elder power. We
Yeah.
have to know that
Yes.
elders have power and have got to exercise it. Back to you.
Absolutely. As a 90s kid would say, shout out to our elders. That's important.
Not the elderly.
No,
We want
no.
elders.
No, elders, vibrant, full of wisdom folks.
Yes, that's
that,
right.
that have a lot to say.
They're older, but they're not elderly, right?
Not even
Okay.
close. So that those of us in our 30s, 40s, and 50s can listen and learn. Which brings us back to Parent University. The hope is to create that platform and create that opportunity so that people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, soon to be parents or current parents, can get that wisdom from elders, formally trained through academics and some informally trained by.
And what should the elders be getting from the?
That's a great question.
Go
That's a
there. I
great
want you
question.
to go there because
I'm gonna reference what you just said, not with the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but with the great Cornel West, who was
Corny West.
Yeah,
Is he Alpha brother? I
yes.
forgot. Yeah.
We won't hold that against the great Cornel West either, but he is a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha. Cornel West said in an interview, I believe it was with Tavis Smiley, I could have that wrong, but he said, the young people have gotten it twisted because the young people have forgotten that they absolutely need the wisdom and the experience and the longevity of the elder. He said, but also the elder has gotten it twisted too, because somewhere along the line, the elder has forgotten that we need the idealism and the youthfulness and the strength
Talk about
of
that
the young
we
people.
should be getting, yes.
So he talked about these things being intergenerational in a very purposeful way. How, one is meant to rely on the other, not to resist the other. So
They're complementary.
they should complement each other. I think the Japanese call that yin and yang, right?
Okay.
The balance,
Yes.
if you will.
I think it's Hindu, one of those other, but that's not important, yeah.
Yeah, I think Shinto.
It might be.
It might
Okay.
Shinto.
Yeah.
That would. If I don't know anything, I can rely on my bachelor's degree in theology. That is Shintoism.
This man has a lot to believe. I wish we had time. I can tell you right now, there's going to be a part B. From talking to him and interviewing him as the producer of the show, I knew that the 25 minutes we have today is certainly not enough to bring to our audience, the elders and the less than elders, what he has to bring and offer and show what Black Star Project is doing and where their role can be as either volunteers. So let me throw that back to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are. So now that the Parent University is relaunching this Saturday, in our partnership with the Northeastern Illinois University Carruthers Center. If you don't know what the Carruthers Center is, that is the South Side campus of our
An
local.
address?
The Carruthers Center is at oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, 700 East
Oakwood Boulevard.
Oakwood Boulevard. Sorry.
All of us know where it is,
Yeah.
but I forget the name. All these years I've been going there since a kid. Yes. You know where it is. It's right off of St. Lawrence or Evans. It's right in that name. You can't miss it. The bus will take you to Cottage Grove if you're taking a bus or public transportation.
And walk 2
Easy to
blocks
get
over.
to and plenty of parking. Go ahead.
Plenty of
Tell us
parking.
about the program. What's going to come?
So the relaunch of the Parent University comes with a unique concept that's actually built out of my PhD research. I'm getting my PhD right now in organization development. It's the idea that we can design love-based practices.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that every single course, workshop that is facilitated through Parent University for our parents is also encompasses what we call research-based or evidence-based practices.
Okay.
And these evidence-based practices are built on practices that build off formations of love through Black diasporic understanding. So Black cultural practices, many of those practices that we had in place in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and somewhere along the lines through the political conditions of our country, we've lost some of those practices, but we want to work together through something that we call intergenerationality to reimagine those practices, but then let the new school parents learn it, but then put their spin on it.
Now, what's so important about Professor Watson is he's not going to only give you theory and from an academic point of view. He's going to break it down. And that's part
Without
of what
question.
today. He's going to break it down to our audience as he's been breaking things down to me and things that I've asked about. So keep on, Brother Watson.
So I'm glad you said that. The other book that I brought with me today is so I'm going to go the long way on this one. We all should have teachers. And we all should have mentors. My mentor is Dr. David Stovall out of UIC. He's a national expert.
University of Illinois, Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go
He's a
ahead.
national expert on educational policy. Currently, he teaches both Black and African American studies as well as criminology, law, and justice at UIC.
Okay.
So in 2016, he introduced me to a gentleman who is a Harvard professor, Dr. Sean Jenwright.
And what's the title of that?
So Dr. Sean Jenwright's book is The Four Pivots: Reimagining Justice, Reimagining Ourselves.
Okay.
So this book is a keeper for those who are old school and for those who are new school. If you haven't gotten yourself a copy of Dr. Jenwright's book, The Four Pivots, please do so. But one of the things that we've done through Parent University is I have read and reread Dr. Jenwright's pivots and taken those philosophical recommendations on how we can get back to some of those holistic, healing-based, intergenerational practices. And he simplified them into, he calls them pivots. So it's, you don't got to stop, but, turn a little bit right or turn a little bit left. What we've done at the
Is this part of the organizational aspect of your PhD work?
for sure.
Okay, go ahead,
So
please.
what we've done is we've taken that and we've taken the notion of love. So knowledge is what? Power. So you take the power of knowledge and you combine it with the theory and the notion of love, and we've put these things together into
Break that down, the love part of it.
Okay.
You know that I was going to ask that.
I definitely did. So we're encouraging parents at Parent University to think about love with 4 primary words: liberatory, opportunities for voice,
Go ahead.
and for empowerment.
Okay.
So the idea, again,
Liberatory
opportunities,
and voice.
Liberatory opportunities for voice
Okay.
and for empowerment.
Okay.
And the idea then is to make sure that whatever work you are doing with yourself and whatever work you're doing with the son or daughter or young person you are working with, all the practices should be promotive of liberatory. That's just another academic way to say a sense of freedom, opportunity. Instead of thinking of things as a no, let's think about what is a yes.
Okay.
So liberatory opportunities.
Well, sometimes it's either or, but not either and, not either or. Okay.
Exactly. Both and.
Yes.
Both. And then Dr. Stovall would say both and then some. You know, sometimes there's a third one too, right? So that's the idea of opportunity. You know, what opportunities do we still have? If someone, I'll give an example. If someone grew up Pentecostal, right? That's what they know. That's their grandfather was Pentecostal pastor. Their father was a Pentecostal deacon. That's what they know. And then you go to college, and there's only Baptist churches. You could look at it as, man, there are no Pentecost. Or you could say, you know what? This Baptist thing is what? An opportunity.
Opportunity to learn.
It's another, and really being keen in on that with young people, so we don't have to say no, and we don't necessarily have to say yes, but we can, lock hands and lock arms with them and say, we'll explore this together. So liberatory opportunities to do 2 primary things. Voice, because we know that adults and young people, we value what we have to say.
Let me just stop you for a moment because I want you to introduce, get your pencil and papers out. You didn't jot this down. When, where, who. It's going to be Saturday.
All right.
Crothers, go ahead.
So the Black Star Project will be relaunching the Parent University this Saturday, April 13th, at the historic Carruthers Center.
Right. Great institution, yes.
Great college campus. It is really a hidden gem in the Brownsville neighborhood.
Urban campus.
And it's geared towards Black and African diasporic knowledge and understanding.
Empowerment, yes.
You will meet us there, beat us there. Don't meet us there at 10 a.m. The doors will open. We'll be going from 10 until 1 o'clock.
Tell them what happens during the day.
Absolutely.
10 o'clock, yes.
So there will be 2 primary agendas that we will have. Once folks come in, sign in, and get checked in.
Should they get there a little bit earlier than 10 o'clock or what?
They get there at about 9:30. That should give them ample time to get them registered and set up.
Okay,
yep.
Yes.
In the basement of the Carruthers Center, and we will feed you. We'll make sure we have a nice lunch from a Black-owned, sandwich shop or something where you can.
It's always been good to come to any of the Black Star Project's different events because they feed you.
There is a pie that we operate from.
That's a free pie, right?
Yeah. There's an organizational pie that we operate from, and every slice is a part of something that our executive director calls radical hospitality.
Radical hospitality.
Yes.
That sounds like Gloria Smith. It sounds
that
like...
you have to get Gloria to talk about that. And one slice of that pie is our, this whole radical love notion.
Yes.
It's not the only one. And we really need to get Gloria here to talk about how all these different pieces, how we operate in love, how we operate in service to the elders, how we operate in service to, she'll break it down and you can't leave any of them out.
That's why you're here, because she is so modest. She just keeps operating things in
the
background.
She's my teacher.
Powerful. But she's in the background. She's not going to... If you get on TV, I'll pay you some money.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. I've never met somebody, and I know Gloria's going to see this, I've never met somebody so flippin' intelligent and don't want no credit. I mean,
Yes,
none.
yes, yes.
And I'm just like,
That's the
what,
beauty, yeah.
sometimes I'm like, Gloria, this was your idea. She said, I know, but you go ahead.
You take it and run.
Yeah,
You run with it. Yeah, great.
I'm rubbing my head. I just don't understand it. I'm like, but you deserve the credit. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, but and she teaches us as our executive director the different slices of this pie that's called radical hospitality. And the reason I say a pie is because no matter what we do at Black Star, Gloria says we need to feed people's bellies and we need to feed people's spirits. And she's very adamant about it. And I appreciate her for teaching me, as a 42-year-old guy, that this is the stuff that is actually important, not the logic models, not the research design, making sure that radical hospitality, how we welcome people in, and also how we support people as they go out is critically important. And it really becomes a metaphor for how organizationally we operate.
I got to take, I want you to take a few minutes of your time to talk about something that you hit upon. And I think you sharing with me as we started to plan for the program, you said something to the effect that we have to, elders like me, have to sit at the feet of a 15-year-old. Now that's radical thinking.
It is
Elder
radical.
like me, sitting at the feet of a 15-year-old, and tell me what you. I know I took good note on this. I know what you said. I'm gonna see if you remember exactly what you told me.
He's giving away the tea. This is supposed to be our planning session. We're on the phone. He's giving out the good stuff. I'm a father. It's my most important. I'm a father of an African American, Filipino American daughter.
Yes.
And
Lovely young lady. She wanted to be on the show. I said, well, she's gonna have another time.
she'll have another time. But one of the things that, as a 42-year-old dad, that I practice with my daughter is, I say, you know what? You explain it to me.
You break it down.
I said, I don't, and there are times where she's like, Daddy, I'm only 10. I'm like, well, one day you'll be 20. So, practice now. But really shifting that paradigm.
Yes.
And making sure that she has the room to practice her destiny, which is being an adult, being leading, but vice versa, role modeling for her what it means to be led. And the reality is, before I was born, there are people older than me who knew what they needed, and now they're in their 50s and 60s and 70s. And if they knew it at that time, then the young people who we have right now, so do they know as well. And then they will teach you precisely where their head is at, what they need, what direction they're going in. And then we can take those notes and then we can use those notes to essentially better serve them. I mean, it really is, it's a system of reciprocity.
Well, you told me, I have to read what I took the notes.
Uh-oh.
I have to read what he told
I tried to give you guys the clean up. He won't let me off the hook here.
No, he told me when I sit at the feet of a 15-year-old, I should show up, shut up, listen, and learn. Is that basically what you said?
That is absolutely accurate. And I have the privilege, even at 42, to still do some really high-end stuff with young black males, 15 and 17 and 22.
Is that your Radical Institute of Love? Is that the same thing?
It's not the same thing. In the Radical Love Institute,
Okay.
I take those current...
And this is something you have
Yeah.
developed. Okay, you can talk about that.
Yeah, the Radical Love Institute is an idea I've been developing since 2016 under the leadership of Dr. David Stovall over at UIC. And it's based on the idea that the policies that we have, formal and informal learning that are meant to govern young people, there are no policy, there are no public school handbooks or church handbooks, what does that say? We will love this black male with all of the rich, positive authority. I mean, the language doesn't say that. And Dr. David Stovall said to us in 2016, when I was getting my first master's degree, he said, I challenge all of you to consider what it can look like for you to design that. So I took the charge serious and I said, what if there was an institute where people could learn love-based practices that are appropriate for supporting black boys? Because all of my research is about how do I help all of us, including myself, support black, and of course God would give me a black girl, right? Committing my life to learn the formal and informal learning of black boys. But the point is making sure that love matters above all whenever we are in the learning service of black boys.
And you talked also about the special role that black females and black males have that are a little different from each other, all but part of the integral thing. And I think you please expand upon this in the few minutes we have. You talked about the woman being the transmitter of culture, and the men the transmitter of of career paths. Let's put it another way.
Yeah.
How to survive. Go ahead.
There's a very unique thing that happens where people who identify as male, and I know nowadays these are very diverse terms, but people who identify across the male spectrum, it really is about agenda. But along the way, black women and people who identify black and female, there's something unique that happens as we push those agenda. We need to hunt, we need to survive, we need to thrive. There is this really rich artistic, meta-spiritual thing of culture that gets maintained. And it is historical that it's really black women who maintain it, as we say,
keep it going.
Yeah.
Well, we're out hunting, they're out keeping it going with the kids.
Keeping it solidified. Okay. And it's not to say that men or women can't do these things interchangeably. That's not my point. What I'm trying to do is give credit to how my mom and other black women have really done an excellent job of, in a Renaissance way, maintaining those cultural practices. And if you look at the learning sciences, I know we're close to our time, I'm going to name drop, the people who have solidified them in the academy: Gloria Landings Billings, black woman; Naila Nasir, black woman; Carol Lee, black woman.
We want to tell our audience again when, where, etc. about Saturday, what time to be there.
Parent University at the Carruthers Center this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 700 East Oakwood Boulevard, hosted by the Black Star Project. We have a number of vendors, and we also have a number of workshoppers who will be there to welcome you and tell you about what you will learn.
Gonna feed the tummy too?
And you will definitely. if Executive Director Gloria Smith has anything to say about it, your stomach gonna get fed, and fed well, I can assure you.
And you'll be there to direct and be a part of the symposium?
I am the kind of consulting director and coordinator of this whole project under Gloria's leadership. So I will be there to facilitate any questions or any ideas or any thoughts of people who want to incorporate things into Parent University, things we haven't thought about. I'll be there to take those notes and ensure, specifically to our elders, that those things get incorporated into the relaunch of the Parent University.
Black Butterfly here. Black Butterfly 1940. Email me your suggestions, your thoughts. I'll pass them on to Professor Watson. Thank you, all you octogenarians, for being with us today. And look for us next week. This is our new week, our new season, on Tuesdays, 5:30 to 5:55. Join us again. Thank you. Brother Watson.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
All right. I ain't going to put the shake.